What's up, everybody? Jeremy Weiss here with Weiss Tech Hockey, and welcome back. This is session 3 of our International Coaching Symposium workshop. If you happen to miss the first 2 sessions, there are links just above this video, so you can go back, check those out when you have a second. But the first session, we talked about using systems to help us organize and manage our individual and team skill development. So it's a little bit more systematic approach to what to work on and when. Session 2, we talked about 3 simple questions that you can use to help your players learn to read and react more effectively. And then in this one, we're going to be talking about understanding and developing cohesive systems. So as always, I would love to get your feedback, love to hear what you've learned about these videos. You can leave your comments in the comment area below. And let's jump straight in. So what does it mean? What are we talking about when I talk about cohesive systems? Well, in my mind, the way I define it is a cohesive system is a system that puts you in position not only to accomplish the objective at hand, but also to put you in position where you can more easily accomplish the next objective. So let's talk about this, and then we'll kind of get into some chalk talk, and we'll pull up drill draw to give you a little bit better example. But for example, let's say that we're in the defensive zone. Okay, the other team has just entered the zone. What's our very first objective when the other team has the puck in the defensive zone? First objective is to stop the threat, right? So we want to make sure first and foremost that they're not going to get a good scoring chance on net. Or if they've already had, maybe they entered the zone on a 3-on-2 or a 2-on-1, they've already had a good scoring chance. We want to make sure they don't get another one. So we want to stop the threat. Okay, so first and foremost, we're going to come back, we're going to protect the house. What's our next objective after that? Our next objective, we don't want to be in defensive zone coverage, the entire game. We want to eventually, at some point, hopefully, get the puck back, right? So step 1 is stop the threat. Step 2 is get the puck back. Once we've gotten the puck back, what's our next objective? Our next objective is to break the puck out, hopefully under control. We don't want to just get it back and slap it away. We want to get the puck, work it out of our zone, under control, where we can have a neutral zone entry that has some structure to it, so that we can then turn that into an offensive attack entry that again has some structure and will be able to be a threat against the other team. So the sequence of objectives goes stop the threat, get the puck back, break it out, enter the neutral zone and the offensive zone with structure and under control, so that we can have a controlled entry and create an offensive threat at the other end. Well, we need to make sure that our systems and the positional play that we're looking to accomplish puts us in the position so that once we get the puck back, we're in position for a breakout, right? And once we break out, we're in position to have proper support and a good structure through the neutral zone, so that if the puck does get popped off our stick, it can land on one of our teammates' sticks, right? And we want to make sure that that's putting us into the strongest position possible as we enter the offensive zone. So we want to make sure that our objectives for each phase, for each sequence of the play, match up with the systems that we're putting in place, so that our back checking leads into a good D-zone coverage. And our D-zone coverage puts us in position for a good breakout. That our breakout puts us in position to have some offensive attack threat through the neutral zone and into the offensive zone. And then from there, our offensive attack not only has one initial threat, but that we set it up so that we can have multiple waves of attack and maintain pressure in the other team's zone. So that's what I'm talking about, understanding and developing cohesive systems. It's defining the objectives and then making sure that your systems lead you from one objective into the next, so you have the best chance possible of securing each objective as the play progresses. So let's go ahead. Like I said, we've got the drill draw pulled up. We'll pull it up right now, jump into the screen, and I want to show you what in X's and O's, what this would actually look like on paper. And then obviously we put that into action in practices and games, so that our team is really functioning on a higher level than just, it's a lot more conjoined. It's not a lot less disconjointed, right? And that's what we try to do, is we try to put it so that we have the best chance possible at every possible phase of the game. All right, so as you can see, we've got the rink pulled up, and we've got our players right now positioned in what I call 5-card. So when we're talking back checking, I talk about we want to funnel back to the front of the net. We want to funnel back to the house, and we want to protect the house first and foremost. We want to make sure that we're never outnumbered in front of our own net. So what we do is we just back check straight back into 5 card. And it looks like, I call it 5 card because obviously, like if we're talking, like a deck of cards, the 5 card is set up like this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But you're funneling back to the front of the net, and you're not just going back there blindly. You're going back with a head on a swivel, and each player is, hopefully picking up somebody along the way. Now, when you're talking the really young age groups, oftentimes, the players are so keen on being coachable that they'll take you for your word. They'll take you at your, take your word for it, to the point where they stop thinking for themselves a little bit. So, for example, a problem I had with my U8s a couple of years ago is they would back check so hard that they would actually catch up to and pass the puck carrier, and then go into their 5 card and stop and wait for the puck carrier to come in. And then it kind of defeats the purpose. So, you might, depending on the age group, if they understand, you might want to say, hey, and if you catch up to the puck carrier, take the puck. Right? So you're back checking with a purpose. You're coming back with the intent of picking somebody up along the way, and then you don't just, ride them into the blue line and then let go, or ride them to the front of the net and then go to your position and let go. You maintain, you keep them, you're going to keep them latched on until the initial threat is gone. So don't just come in and then let go. Make sure you maintain, keep control of that player until the threat's done. So let's say they get a shot on net, rebound goes into the corner. Let's just put a puck there. So you can see we go from our initial objective, which is stop the threat, and now we're going to use that to branch out into our D-zone coverage. You'll be able to see that this actually branches straight into our D-zone coverage very easily. So if we're using kind of our standard, what I call sagging zone coverage, we're going to take that defenseman, the closest defenseman is going to go out. And depending on if the other team has control, this is probably a different topic for a different day, but if it's force, he's going to force. If the guy's got control of the puck, he may contain there, but he or she's going to go out and at least put some pressure on the puck carrier there. Okay, centerman is going to take the strong side post. Centerman acts as a third defenseman in the defensive zone. Again, probably beyond the scope of what we're talking about with this video, but kind of speaking in generalities here. So the centerman will be in position to support that defenseman, and sometimes ends up initiating the breakout. Left winger is going to, kind of anticipate a possible pass back to the point, but we position the left winger in a position where he or she can see both the puck and the defenseman. Okay, and then the right winger is, like I said, this is our sagging zone. So the right winger is kind of sagging in that low slot area. The defenseman, the backside defenseman, and the weak side defenseman, weak side winger, they both got their head on a swivel, looking for potential, loose men in front. So that's our basic setup. Now let's just say, for the sake of this video, let's say we go out, we get the puck back, and now we're in breakout mode. Well, what do we tell our defensemen? Some of you guys who may know me a little bit, very first thing I tell my defensemen is if you get the puck, when you get the puck back in the D zone, okay, so remember, we've got from position to stop the initial threat to defensive zone coverage. Now we've gotten the puck back, and you can see as we show you how this goes, we're already in a great position for a breakout here. Okay, so what I say is the first thing the defenseman does when he or she gets the puck is start skating towards the back of the net. From there, we make all our decisions. So depending on where the pressure is, that defenseman may hit the brakes, always facing the boards, and break out strong side, or that defenseman may read that there's pressure behind him or her and skate the puck from one side of the ice to the other. Okay, so for this example, let's just say that that's what happens. What is everybody else doing as this happens? Okay, well, the wingers are reading it. If the defenseman hits the brakes and there's a strong side breakout, well, then it's pretty straightforward, and this winger can just get straight over to the boards as a potential board side breakout option. Centerman is always shadowing the puck, so the centerman will be in position for a middle breakout. And then you can decide, some coaches prefer to have a bottom-up breakout where this winger will loop down in and swing up. Some coaches prefer to have a top-down, where this winger, he's already up there kind of on the point anyways, and so he or she just basically puts a little bit of gap between the point man and him or herself and receive that breakout pass. Again, centerman swinging through, and they're in position for a breakout. For this one, let's just say that they skate behind the net. So we'll have our right winger reads it and slides straight over to the boards. Now, if that defenseman somehow loses it along the way and the puck gets end up loose in the corner, well, our winger already needs to be going that direction anyways, right? So A, we're in position for a proper breakout. B, if that breakout doesn't happen, as long as that winger's paying attention, he or she is going to the right spot anyways, right? So let's just say the breakout is going to happen. winger gets to the boards, either a loop down up or a loop from the top down. Okay, so either from the bottom up or the top down, but we want to receive it somewhere in this general area here. Centerman, as we said, is shadowing that puck. So I'm just going to draw an arrow here. Centerman shadows the puck and first presents him or herself as a possible middle breakout. And then if the puck doesn't come at that point in time, then they continue up to support the winger. And they actually get pretty close there, okay? Because we want that winger to be able to do a little touch pass if that defenseman pinches. So that's kind of what we're looking at there. Now, what's this left winger doing? Well, left winger, as that puck moves from one side to the other, the left winger, first and foremost, becomes a sag man, we say, because if we do lose it, we want that player in position for in the low slot anyways, which is part of our D-zone coverage. So again, we're building in, not only are we functioning from one objective to the next, but we're also building in contingencies if the play doesn't work out in a textbook format. If, as that pass is being made up to the boards or to the centerman, this winger now turns up ice, and then once it's apparent that we're going to be breaking out of the zone, then this left winger comes up and presents him or herself as a breakaway man, okay? And it'll look like that. So we've led now from our back check into our D-zone coverage, and from there, we've put ourselves in a good position for great positioning on the breakout with structure and with support. So the centerman is the low support, and then as we go, we've got a front side support option with that weak side winger. Another couple cool options here that play right in, because we talked about not only we want our D-zone functioning like this, but we also want it to lead into an offensive attack. So let's just say that the pass went from the winger, from the defenseman to the winger, and there's a little touch pass up here to the centerman. Centerman swinging through now. If we've got our wingers playing their proper side, then structuring it like this makes it so that the left winger is receiving a breakaway pass, okay? Because the centerman will pick it up, take a couple steps with it, continuing wide, so that we open up that good passing lane there. But we'll put it, because of the nature we have this winger coming up and then cutting across, we've got that winger picking up that breakaway pass on their forehand. So if we have wingers playing their proper side. So I've seen articles, and I've heard coaches talk about, hey, it's a cool idea to have your wingers play their off wing. Well, yes and no. It's good for the offensive zone, but it's harder in the defensive zone. But when we set it up like this, where we have guys crisscrossing through lanes, now we've got this winger setting up in a position where he or she can pick it up on the forehand. It gets all the benefits of being able to pick it up full stride on the forehand side, which is an easier pass to receive. Then they continue wide, okay? We want to talk about our offensive attack. And we go F1 goes wide, F2 drives to the net, and F3 is the trailer man, okay? Well, this sets that up perfectly there as well. So what I usually like to say is after you've made a pass, you follow your pass, okay? So as this centerman is swinging through, receiving that touch pass from the winger, after the winger makes that touch pass, the right winger, he or she is going to swing in behind the centerman. That's called backside support. And the reason why we do that is because if the centerman happens to bobble it or lose the puck and it bounces back, that winger will be in position to pick it up. And you watch some of the best teams, even at the highest levels of play, but especially at the youth levels. If you have a team that understands proper front side and backside support, oftentimes they lose the puck in the neutral zone and magically it ends up on their teammate's stick. And people sit there and go, how is it possible that they never lose the puck? It always, they get lucky bounces. It's not luck. It ends up on their stick because they support properly, okay? So that's the first level there. So the right winger swings in behind after making that pass to provide that backside support. So we'll have the centerman's got the puck at this point. Front side support option is the left winger. Backside support is the right winger, okay? After the centerman takes his couple steps and then makes that headman pass, then he or she needs to get on their horse and drive wide. We go like this, and they're attacking. They got to catch up to the play and get to that back door. Okay, so again, they're following their pass in behind, because if this player happens to lose it, well, the centerman just redirects their route a little bit, swings through, picks that up, and now they're attacking up the middle with the puck. Okay, but ideally, we want to have the puck carrier drive wide, and then the centerman usually becomes the F2, and they're driving to the net. And then the player who was the initial breakout man, loops in behind the centerman, and then follows up the puck carrier. And I usually say attacking, coming into the zone about half a line behind the puck carrier and just to their inside shoulder. So now what does that do? So that puts us in position so that we're in the best case scenario as far as like the odds go, where if we happen to lose the puck in the neutral zone, we're in the best possible positioning to regain possession and to continue that attack. Now as we're entering the offensive zone, you can see we've got F1 drove wide, F2 is at the net providing front side support, and F3 is trailing providing backside support. And why is this so important? Well, it works out like this. I like to teach my teams to think in terms of waves of attack and option 1, option 2, option 3, option 4, okay? And those options continue. There's a lot of different options when you attack properly. So what's the very first thing this puck carrier is looking to do? Well, they've hopefully got their head up, and the act of driving wide has made their team's defenseman have to make a decision. Do I let him go or do I stay with him, right? Most of the time, a good defenseman is at least going to try to stay with him. So you're going to pull their defenseman. Let me just draw the defenseman in here just so we have a visual, okay? So you're going to pull their defenseman deep and wide, okay? Now, first thing you're looking to do, if you beat that defenseman, cut right back to the front of the net and take a shot, okay? If that defenseman stays with you and you don't have a lane to the net, your next option, option 2, is do I have a pass across? If yes, then I'm going to pass it across and let my partner take that one-timer, okay? So that would assume that, the F2 beat their defenseman. Well, what if F2's defenseman stayed with them? Okay. Well, now we don't have a lane to skate it to the net. We don't have a pass to the net. Well, what's option 3? Well, we took both our defensemen deep and wide. That should leave a vacuum, at least momentarily, here in the high slot. So option 3 is a possible drop pass. Okay. Well, that may be there. So we're looking through option 1, option 2, option 3. Well, what if they had a back checker that, took his job seriously and caught up to our F3, and now that's not a passing option either. Okay. Well, now we hit the brakes, right? And so we're continually working our way through these options. So we hit the brakes, okay? Sorry, my arrow didn't work. Give me 1 second here. I'm going to delete these. Drives me a little bit crazy when the diagram doesn't look right. So we're going to drive it deep and then hit the brakes towards the boards again, right? We don't want to turn into the middle towards that pressure that's already there. From here, now we have a new set of options, okay? If our defensemen, which hopefully they do, this is what we teach our guys to do, if our defensemen got into the zone on time, then we should have a potential partner or a potential pass back to the D-man. From there, he can either go D to D or shoot it, in which case we've already got one guy going to the net. And when our trailer man sees that that the puck carrier has hit the brakes, he or she is going to either drive the net, or there may be some times where it makes sense to pull out, depending on how early they were in the zone or how late. Pull out for a possible middle pass across there. Okay. So this is off hitting the brakes there. So that's another potential option. If this guy drives the net, then our weak side defenseman sometimes will have the option of sliding in that kind of that high slot back door area, right? And so there's a potential pass across the seam there. If neither of those options are there, a lot of times what happens when this guy hits the brakes, at least for a split second, he loses this guy for a second. So then there's a potential option. So this is like option 5 or 6 at this point. There could be a potential option to cut across the seam, especially if F3 has read it and driven the net and taken that forecheck or that back checker with him. Okay, so we drive the seam, take a shot. Ovechkin does this a lot. This is a pretty common play for him. He's really good at attacking the seam. He's got that really hard wrist shot, snap shot that he takes from that high slot area, and it's just a quick burst across the top of the circle, let a shot go. And again, if you're doing that right, you've already got 2 guys at the net anyways, plus yourself crashing the net. So there's some good options there. Next, what we're looking at is a potential for a cycle. So if nothing is there and there's just nothing, you don't have to throw it away. Set up the cycle, okay? So cycle down into the corner, and depending on which player is closest, one of these guys will swing down and pick that cycle up, okay? So let's just say it's F3, picks the cycle up, and then this player who was the F1 is now opening up across the seam, and you can run that cycle give and go out of the corner. Or if that's not there somehow, then this player continues up the boards with the puck. The player who was at the back door swings in behind, and now this is where we get into like a full-blown cycle. So as you can see, we put ourselves in position straight from the back check. We start from the back check, and then we're in position so that once we achieve one objective, we're already in position for the next objective. And it works in sequence. So it goes from one objective to the next, to the next, to the next. And then eventually, we don't stay in the offensive zone the whole game. Eventually, the other team will get it back, and that's where we go, straight back into our back check, and the whole sequence starts over again. So we do this all the time, and we're constantly setting up our structuring our systems so that one objective leads into the next, into the next, into the next, and we can go through and keep control of the game, maintain pressure in the offensive zone, and give ourselves the most likelihood of scoring as possible. So I hope this video was helpful and maybe sparked some thinking on selecting cohesive systems, selecting D-zone coverage that works well with your breakout and neutral zone attack structure and everything else. I would love to hear your feedback. I would love to hear how you implement this with your team and the successes that you have. You can leave your comments in the area below this video. And thank you for attending this workshop. This workshop is actually gearing up. We will be re-releasing our International Coaching Symposium course. It's 20 modules, 20 different segments of completely actionable, high-quality, world-class material. I won't get into all the details right now. We'll save that for a different video. But what I can tell you right now is that the package we're putting together is going to be unprecedented. You're really going to love it. There's going to be a ton of good stuff that you'll be able to put into action immediately with your team. And it's going to be a fun time. So stay tuned. Keep an eye on your inbox. You'll be receiving a few emails from me just with all the details. And as always, if you ever have any questions, email me at info@weisstechhockey.com or just leave your questions, comments, any feedback you have in the comments area below this video.